Queensland Greens. It's not just good to be a Greenslander, as I am, but it's good to be looking to a green slide, which is there in the realm of the voters of Queensland if they get the message we're hearing here today. Mind you, I did have a plan when I came up here, which was to have the name of the party put on the ballot paper as the out of stone Queensland Greens. It's not that I'm a copycatter, it's just that I thought this would give an extra focus onto this brilliant candidate in Mount Coot-tha and what we stand for, but I'm told that would involve ripping up millions of ballot papers. So we Greens won't be calling for that, but what a phenomenal idea it would be. And I just wanted, before I went any further, with Libby and Drew here, to pay homage to these elders of the Queensland Greens, but much more than that. And Drew, as an old friend of mine and somewhat of a mentor, I'll come down here. We will be having the 40th anniversary of the world's first Greens Party on the night before this election in Hobart Town Hall. And I'll be thinking about Queensland, but I'll also be thinking about Drew, after Libby and Drew in 1991 did have that remarkable tour of Queensland to give Queenslanders a real alternative to vote for, then coming to Hobart and saying, Bob, how about we have another go at establishing an Australian Greens? And we know where the Australian Greens are now, thanks to that remarkable initiative from Queensland's Drew Hutton. We have, in this country, 10 Greens in the National Parliament, including Queensland's fabulous artist. 24 Greens in Australian parliaments, and we're about to increase that number here in Queensland, the hardest place of the lot, but we will get there. Local government across the country, but of course, the hundreds of thousands of people who are going to vote Greens here in Queensland, as we move towards giving a voice to the voiceless, but also a voice to the great impulsion that Drew and I spoke about those 20 years ago, for fairness, for beauty, for love of country, for the rural, beleaguered rural food-producing lands which produce the food, the fibre, everything that we in the cities depend upon. And for those coming generations that Libby spoke about, who deserve to be considered every time we put a vote in the ballot box. And that's going to be so crucial on the 24th of March, right the length and breadth of Queensland. And let no Queenslander make an error here coming from the old parties. Voting Green is double value voting. Let me explain that. First of all, voting one Green is the only way to ensuring that we get Greens into the Queensland Parliament to make this Queensland Parliament the vibrant ideas bank that the Greens have made other parliaments, including our national parliament in Canberra. But if your candidate doesn't get up, voters of Queensland, after you're voted number one for the Greens, then your vote goes over as a whole vote to which of the old parties you want to determine as a backup to the better option of the Greens. But the third thing is, you are voting for your grandchildren. And having been the Greens are the party of security for the future in this insecure world where there is so much strife, degradation and worry about the future. A vote for the Greens is a vote for returning the right of everybody here in Queensland and indeed around this nation to feel secure about what we're handing on to the future generations. And I went with Libby from Mackay, where we have John O's the fabulous candidate for Whitsunday, and we went over the Galilee Basin 2 weeks ago. Let me tell you about Clyde Palmer's Waratah mine, designed there to be bigger than anything yet seen in Queensland. According to his own company's consultants, that one mine will suck 2,000 plus jobs out of manufacturing and agriculture here in Queensland. That's the way this mining boom works. It puts up the dollar, it puts stress on other businesses, it makes it difficult to export, and it shaves jobs. How can it be that Queensland, the resource-rich state, has the second worst unemployment rate in Australia? And by the way, most of the mining profits go overseas. If we look after the Great Barrier Reef, we're looking after a $6 billion homespun industry where the small businesses put their money back into this economy, and the 68,000 jobs on the reef, which is more than the coal mining industry right across this country. The Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area should not be a dumping ground for waste from the mining industry. Why should we have a World Heritage Area turned into a dumping ground for these mega mines sucking jobs out of the Queensland manufacturing and agricultural industries? The Greens will fix that. Neither of the other parties will. And let me say, with Campbell Newman, what will be safe in terms of the environment, in terms of jobs, in terms of that Great Barrier Reef, small business driven $6 billion economy? You only have to look at Victoria and New South Wales to see that the answer is it won't be safe with Campbell Newman. We need Greens in this parliament to keep a check on a future Liberal National Party government, or if Labor's return, on a returned Labor government. That's the best dividend that Queenslanders could get on the 24th of March coming up. Very exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever government is elected, it will need an active, enlivened community having a voice about its future. And that brings me back to Drew Hutton. He is the doyen of knowing that you can't leave it to politicians. You can't just leave it to community activism. But where people feel let out by the big parties, giving people a voice is incredibly important. And that's what Drew has been about, is giving people in the bush a voice when they are being rolled over by decisions of this Labor government, no doubt, by other future governments made in Queensland with a lot going on behind closed doors that they can never wish to emulate. So we've got a vibrant potential for Queensland second to none of any state or province on the planet. But is it to be Texas on steroids? Is all that to be thrown out by the latter coming black shoe brigade of the coal industry in this state? The answer appears whether you vote Labor or whether you vote for the Conservatives. The coal industry is going to have more say in this state
than small business, than farmers or manufacturers. The job powerful, the job rich components of this great state's future. So as we move into the last 2 weeks of this very exciting election campaign, and you can see the quality of the candidates that the Greens are putting forward, it's our job to let Queenslanders know that voting one Green is triple value voting. That voting one Green will bring an ideas bank into that parliament in Brisbane, which so badly needs it, will give a voice to the people in the bush, to people in small business, to people in manufacturing, to people who depend on the Great Barrier Reef and the other wonderful assets of this state, which will be missing whichever of the old parties gets in. I'm looking forward after the 40th anniversary of that world's first Greens party here in Australia, to coming back here to Brisbane on the 24th as the numbers go up and the Greens move towards being their destiny, which is to be the most powerful influence for society, for the economy, for the environment this state has seen in a century. It's there for people to vote for. Between now and the 24th, it's our job to let people know, vote one Green. That's the best vote you'll get in Queensland in this state election. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.